Welcome, everyone, to From the Ground Up. This is a Grit Daily and CEO Official Mag sponsored podcast. We're in the Grit Daily Network. It's called From the Ground Up. We're talking to entrepreneurs all the time about how they're running their business, what they're doing, and how, the advice. The hope is that there will be advice for people who watch the show on how they can run their businesses better. And today we're joined by Yoni Kalin of Plant Cell Technology. Hi, Yoni. How are you?
I'm better now. It's great to be here. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, you're coming to us all the way from Washington, D.C., the nation's capital.
Yes.
Great to have you on the show. Tell us about your background as the CEO of Plant Cell Technology and what you're doing with the company.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to connect. So I've been the CEO of Plant Cell Technology about a year and a half, and I started as a business development representative at PCT. I entered the space at a very interesting time. Right in 2018, around the time the hemp bill was passed, there was more and more interest around the tissue culture space and how tissue culture and biotechnology could revolutionize the way we grow foods and other horticultural crops. So Plant Cell Technology started off as a one product company, with the product PPM being a very popular product around the industry, but I like to think of that as our foot in the door into the industry. And what we've created in the last 7 years is a biotechnology ecosystem. And what that means is we're bridging manufacturing, education, and innovation in plant and animal stem cell science. So we develop and produce tools and media used for plant and mammalian tissue culture. And what that means is we're using technology behind cloning and growing cells in labs. If that makes
Great.
sense.
And basically, when we talked before, and from listening and learning more about you, what it sounds like is, to me, it is that this is basically the liquid that the plants grow in. Essentially, that's your main product. That's PPM, right?
Well, PPM is a preservative that keeps the media from getting contaminated. So the way I like to explain tissue culture is we're growing plant cells in sugar instead of in soil. So the media that we're growing in is a mix of macronutrients, micronutrients, amino acids, a whole bunch of chemicals that we blend together. And then we use something called the gelling agent to hold it together. So what's cool about tissue culture is you never have to water the plants. I know people always forget to water their orchids, their plants die. Tissue culture, we're using a seaweed-based gel, or it's a gel from agar-agar or Gel gum. There's a number of different ones. And what that does is it binds together the media and it creates a liquid solution or semi-solid gel solution so that the plants or the cells can actually feed from the nutrients. And so when people ask, what is tissue culture? Why is it relevant? For plants, what we're doing is we're cloning elite genetics. So we're creating disease-free, uniform, and fast-growing plants. So this is so farmers, researchers, nurseries can scale production and preserve biodiversity. And on the mammalian side, this includes animals and humans. What cell culture does is it enables breakthroughs in medicine and food tech. So think growing tissues for research, growing organs in petri dishes, developing new vaccines, lab-grown meat. We can do all of that without needing the whole organism. So imagine growing a steak without ever killing a cow, or growing a kidney without having to actually take one from a human and putting it inside them. So the magnification and importance of this technology, we're just getting started. I like to tell people we're in the first or second inning. And so our kind of magic sauce, what we bring to the table, is the highest quality manufacturing in the United States, all made in the US in beautiful Utah. And we produce the food or the media that the cells use to grow. So we work with researchers, institutions, big businesses to supply them with the components and media that they need to be successful in their research.
You started off with just like one product, and you've been able to scale it to several products now. I forget the exact number, and I know it's getting bigger all the time.
Yep.
Tell us about what those newer products are and what the process of scaling has been like so far.
Great question. So we went from one product to a little over 500, and it was quite the process. I would say this last year is when we scaled from 30 to 500. The last 6 years, I guess, is the entire 1 to 500. But the very first challenge in looking to scale a one product business is, what are products that complement our current product? So we already provided the PPM mixture, and this is what keeps the media from getting contaminated. For context, we're growing plant cells and animal cells in nutrient-rich media that's about 3 to 4 times as rich as soil. So if you're thinking about all the fungus and bacteria and bugs that love soil, they especially love this media. So the ppm prevents that media from getting contaminated while also protecting the plant. So the plant's able to absorb the nutrients without getting harmed by both insects or the preservative. On that note, part of my research and approach to this business was, hey, how can we add high margin products that also complement our business line, right? We're not necessarily able to compete with some of the bigger brands in the space that I won't mention, but they're closer to Amazon, right? They carry everything under the sun. They have more than a few thousand SKUs, and their job is to be the one-stop shop for everything. You know, one idea was, hey, we can try and compete with those guys, but they have 25 years of experience and 25 years of head start. So instead we said, okay, number one, what are the most important products that we can supply and manufacture now? And from there, how do they complement our current products that we carry? So started off with some of the basics, and these products that we decided to bring on, so different medias. One media is used for most horticultural plants and house plants. One media is used for berries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. Another product is used for orchids. So we looked at kind of the three primary angles within agriculture related to like berry production, the house plant and ornamental plant space, and the orchid industry. And we decided to carry those medias. As we scaled, you know, we started just leaving money on the table. I mean, I had customers left and right coming to us, asking us to provide this specialized formula or this specialized formula. And year after year, I had to tell them, I'm sorry, we don't have the capacity. We don't have the space. I wish we could do it. And about April or May of 2025, kind of the stars aligned more or less. We had a competitor of ours who was also a distributor. So we had a good working relationship with them, decide that they had to close their doors. And I was literally in Denver that afternoon, and I flew to Utah. Sorry, it's Caisson Labs. Yeah. So I was in Denver when I got the call on a Friday, and I was in Utah that Monday to speak with their team. When I visited the facility, I was literally blown away. I mean, everything that we needed to scale was in this building. 16,000 square feet, quality control lab with a amazing quality control team, liquid lab, full-scale manufacturing capabilities, fulfillment and logistics support, huge space. I mean, everything that we were missing up until this point, this facility had. So it seemed like the perfect opportunity for us to vertically integrate, bring in all their capabilities. And with this acquisition, we bought the assets, right? We didn't buy the debt. We didn't buy their brand name. So we had to, of course, try to convince their customers to come back to us, and we hired their whole team. So we wanted to tell the customers that they're getting the same quality with better customer support, white glove service, and faster turnarounds, because, you know, the business was undercapitalized and we had to make a difference there. So really that transition allowed us to go from 30 to over 500. And I think hopefully by the end of the year or next year, we'll be close to 1,000, 1,500 products.
That's amazing. Geez. So it's very fortuitous that showed up at a time when, well, I mean, it's a problem that a lot of entrepreneurs would love to have, where, you know, a bunch of things that they could do, they're not able to do, but this thing comes along and makes it so that you can at least meet some of those things. So you think that repeat that one more time. So by the end of next year, you should be able to scale it up. How far?
Yeah, we could probably have 2 to 3x the amount of products that we have. What I've done is the catalog that we purchased was, I don't know, maybe 4,000 products. The reality is, number one, not wanting to overwhelm the team. So the biggest challenge with a company, it's not really a merger, but I'm going to call it a merger for lack of a better word, but merging two cultures, two businesses, two different sets of experience comes with a lot of challenges. And I'd say we're finally, after 7 months, at a point where the team is really cohesive. We brought in a lot of new blood. We were able to document and institutionalize a lot of the knowledge that the employees had, and really set the stage for expansive growth. But I'm not going to lie, it was a tough 7 months. I mean, a lot of drama, a lot of CapEx spending, tons of inventory that we had to buy, tons of money we had to spend up front, not knowing how it would convert, and also the risk of maybe these customers don't want to come back to us. So part of the risk that we took is, hey, we outgrew our capabilities as a supplier distributor. We want to be a vertically integrated house. We're leaving too much money on the table. So we made the gamble. We decided to buy out their facility, bring on their whole team and spend a lot of money to really upgrade the capabilities, the manufacturing, and the speed at which we can produce, all while maintaining very high quality. And the hardest thing with that is how do you bridge two gaps, or bridge two company cultures? And so
I was going to ask, what was
the
that process like, taking two teams and merging them like that?
it's still a work in progress. I wouldn't call myself an expert at it, but I'd say over communicate, right? First off, I do spend a lot of time in Utah, so I like to be on the ground. And one of my mentors always says, if you want to grow something big, you got to be on the ground floor. So I try to go to Utah every other month, spend a couple
That's where
weeks out
Kason
there.
was. That's where that company was,
Yep.
Kason.
So Kason was based in Utah, so we didn't necessarily pick the location, but fun fact, Utah is the home. It's beautiful. Every time I fly there, I get to see mountains and sometimes go skiing. I mean, no complaints. The employees are amazing. The people, the culture is amazing. And it's also, we're located in a place called Cache Valley. And I like to call it the Valley of Innovation. I mean, you have Thermo Fisher Scientific, you have Cytiva, you have Pepperidge Farms, you have Grosvenor Foods, you have huge, huge factories and biotechnology giants in this area. So the talent pool is quite impressive. You also have Utah State University, which has an unbelievable agricultural school that we work with them. We bring in their interns and we give them tours as well. So we're very lucky to be in Utah, and we're very lucky the state is friendly towards, pharma and biomanufacturing research. So it kind of worked out for the best. But to your point earlier, when it comes to what do you recommend, I'd say number one, over communicate. Right? Making sure your team understands where are we going, what they're doing is important and why. Number two is try not to overmanage. So what I did is assign certain managers across different positions, right? At the end of the day, us humans can only manage 2 to 3 people at a time. So my goal is to have 2 to 3 people, and those 2 to 3 people manage 2 to 3 people. And we're a team of 15, so we're not huge, but we're growing to the point where I can't be on the ground 24/7, and I need to have a site lead and team leads for each division. And so we over communicate. We have team meetings and manager meetings every week. We have morning check-ins, and we have Slack. I mean, this is not an advertisement for Slack, but honestly, it's the best program possible. Just a instant message, communicate. We also use an amazing tool, which I recommend to entrepreneurs, called Spark Mail. And Spark Mail is a way that you can assign emails to different people on your team. You can chat on different emails. So if you're in sales and you're discussing with your team, hey, do we pitch this price, or what margin do we need? You can just discuss it directly. So there are these tools that really help communication across teams. And we have people working in DC, in Utah, in India, in New Orleans. So we're a global team with different time zones. So communication is a very, very important part of that agenda that we set to be successful.
Well, plant biotech, it's not the most household name, out there. Most people aren't too familiar with it. How do you make it more accessible for consumers and other entrepreneurs who you might want to team up with, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So as I mentioned, we've created an ecosystem. And what that means is, in addition to manufacturing and distributing the best quality products, we have education. So we have masterclasses both in person and online, in addition to over 800 free videos on YouTube and webinars that we post frequently, probably monthly. And what we've done is we've created a huge library of free content for growers and hobbyists to learn. And we're interested in educating the next generation of scientists. One issue with STEM education and biotechnology specifically is you have to invest anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000 if you want to have access to a lab or access to learning. And our understanding is, sure, if you want to be a lab director or if you want to run research programs, you need a master's degree, you need a PhD, 100%. And with that being said, we believe a lot of the lab-related work can be considered a trade skill. So what we do is we focus on teaching people all the operational techniques, aseptic technique, how to work in a lab, how to operate a lab, how to be clean, in addition to how to set up a lab, so that they can actually get their hands dirty, for lack of a better term, even though we're all about cleanliness, and put them to work, right? It's all about repetitions, repetitions, repetitions. How do you make media? How do you select an explant from a plant? How do you subculture? How do you design R&D experiments to determine what the best media is for different plant species? All of this is done in our classes. And the whole idea of the class is to show people from a from a business standpoint how they can use this technology to improve their yields, improve their business, or start a new business. We've had numerous students take our class and then start a distribution business of tissue cultured plants. Or we've had people come from companies that take our class and they build out their lab at their local facility, their local grow. Or we work with nurseries trying to optimize the way that they're approaching tissue culture. How could they lower the costs of research? How could they improve their labor efficiency? So we're all about increasing automation and improving operational efficiency with our classes, in addition to bringing in the next generation of scientists that might not be able to have access to a university course or a master's program.
So with these classes, you're kind of attempting to sort of grow the entire space, not just, your own business. Talk to me
That's
just a
the
little bit.
idea. That's the
Yeah.
idea. I mean, right now we're dealing with STEM education limitations in the United States as a whole, right? Engineering programs, science programs. It's very hard to get people interested in those. And we're doing two things I think that will help that. Number one, visual learning, right? YouTube videos alone showing people what tissue culture is. You don't have to love science, but if you love plants, you'll instantly kind of fall in love with the process. If you ever go to a plant store and you see a $50 plant that you want to buy, but you can't afford it, guess what? We can teach you how to clone it. You don't need one, we can make you 100. So it's a skill that's tangible. And once people can see it, they can touch it, they can feel it, it opens up the doors to possibility and gets people excited about science. So I think one thing that we're doing differently is applying visualization and creating content that educates people, while at the same time, instead of putting people in a classroom, making them study plant physiology 90% of the time and lab work 10% of the time, we do 90% of the time in the lab, doing the work, running through protocols, and 10% of the time learning about the plant physiology, learning about the biology, and understanding the background of what they're doing. And we found that to be very effective in, number one, teaching people the skills, but number two, having it stick with them, right? At the end of the day, a lot of people in our generation are very much visual learners, me included. And reading a science paper, while it is important, isn't necessarily the best entry point for a lot of people. And we cover both.
Yeah. So you with these class, what's the best way people can sort of get cooked up with these classes? And we can ask you, go
Yeah,
ahead,
great
tell us.
question. So plantcelltechnology.com, we have a whole page dedicated to learning. We have free blogs that we post, about 4 blogs every month. We have YouTube videos we post every month, and we have classes. So we both announce on our Instagram, LinkedIn pages about the classes and when they're occurring. So our next class, we have a houseplants class this weekend that's taking place on Saturday and Sunday. Growers from all over the country are flying in and they're learning how to clone houseplants, which most people love. Your philodendrons, monsteras, alocasias, orchids, all the fun stuff that you love to grow at home. And the best part is all the materials we provide can be used by both your top research institutions in the country and nurseries, in addition to the hobbyists, right? What we provide is the education on how to use them successfully and safely. And that's what it comes down to, is follow the protocols, follow instructions, and learn as best as you can with the guidance that we're able to provide.
But hobbyists don't need to have their own lab or anything like that, but they do need a certain amount of expertise that they learn with the help of you guys.
Expertise, yes, and there is some safety, right? You're using a scalpel, you're using forceps, right? You want to be very careful in following protocol and procedure, especially when it comes to safety, wearing PPE, mask, glasses, gloves, lab coat. But what we've kind of debunked is this theory that you need hundreds of thousands of dollars to be successful in this space. The reality is, number one, no, you don't. Number two, we were able to introduce a number of products, our starter kits, our mini flow hoods, PPM, products that enable any grower at any level to be successful. Now, at the end of the day, a lab that's producing millions of plants a year, sure, they might need a couple $100,000 or maybe a couple million to invest in that infrastructure. But in order to actually get your foot in the door or get started, you don't need that much money, and you can do it from home. You can do it in your kitchen. You can do it in your bathroom. We have a video of Francisco, our lab director, doing tissue culture in his bathroom, and it works. Do I recommend that? Not necessarily, but is it possible? Absolutely.
He's an expert, though. He's
an expert. He can do it.
I saw Francisco on YouTube. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
The 10,000 hour rule. He's probably done 20 to 30,000 hours of this, and he's been doing it since he was 14. So at the end of the day, And he was, he did get the education for it, but he was also self-taught. And that's what's so amazing about this industry now is I think I'm not going to take full credit for where we are, but since our YouTube videos in the early 2020s and our blogs, we've created a whole niche subsegment of this industry of hobbyists, beginners, future scientists who are now exposed to this industry. And I think we've inspired a lot of influencers and other people who now influence and post videos about plant tissue culture. I mean, when I started in 2016, 2017, there were zero videos outside of people writing on a whiteboard, right? It did not exist. And now you type it on YouTube, there's Parkfolio, there's Plants in Jars, there's Plant Cell Technology, there's Shoots and Roots. There's all these influencers, really, really amazing, talented individuals telling their story, showing the world what they're doing, and teaching others. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing that we're able to bring this industry forward into the mainstream and bring more people into STEM education, because we need more brains. We need more people in science. That's how we save humankind. That's how we fix the world, fix climate change, fix deforestation issues. We need bodies in seats.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, so there are going to be, well, there's so many questions I want to ask you. I think I want to ask first about, with the social media component, what role has that had in helping you grow the company? Have you seen that be a great grower of your community? Talk to us about the social media aspect.
So, obviously a lot of people are skeptical. I especially was skeptical. Instagram and Facebook for biotech, that sounds nuts, right? There's no way it'll work. And what I need to tell you is absolutely yes, social media is 100% one of the best ways to possibly grow your business. Content alone, right? This is let us show you how we pack your package. Let us show you what it's like in the lab. Let us show you what quality control looks like. Let us show you what the fulfillment and warehouse looks like. Apparently the word of this year is vulnerability, and people want to see the people behind the companies. They want to see the individuals that are putting together their products. And I think we've really done a great job of putting personalities and faces to our brand, right? We're not just a big corporation. We're actually a pretty small company. And we're an amazingly diverse team of men, women, people from all backgrounds, all ages, working together to provide some of the best products in the world to this industry. And we've seen incredible growth results by using Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, because at the end of the day, people want to see what you're doing, right? Reading an email is one thing, but seeing people in action, seeing scientists in action, people love it. They eat it up. So we are famous for high quality content. We put out content on, we do time lapses, watching the plants grow, which is pretty amazing. We do fun behind the scenes content at our master classes. We try to interview different students to give people perspective on what it's like to be at one of our classes. We do behind the scenes videos. We're very much keen on showing and telling, right? Transparency is super important. And in science, it's not something you have a lot of. And so obviously there's some stuff that we have to keep under the wraps until we launch it, right? Protecting IP. But a lot of the time we like to post about our experiments. Hey, we're running our potatoes in our bioreactor. This is how they're doing week 1. This is how they're doing week 3. This is how they're doing after 6 weeks. This is all the pictures. And also here's our white paper. So we'll be launching more white papers, more data, and more videos to accompany that research, because that's something that doesn't really exist right now. In science, you have science papers, you have a lot of data, and you have pictures, but adding the video component, I think, is important. It's a little bit non-traditional, but it's another way of gearing people and bringing them into the space so they can understand how the research transforms or how we're conducting our research. And I think that's very helpful for people.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Okay. So plenty, well, I was going to say plenty of other folks out there trying to start science-backed companies. I don't think it's plenty of. I think that maybe there aren't enough, but, so advice for entrepreneurs out there trying to start science-backed companies and they don't have a bunch of outside money coming in. What are some key bits of advice you would give for those kinds of folks?
Step 1, read as many books as you can. I remember Plants from Test Tubes was like the Bible for me. Great book in a way that I was able to understand, because I come from a business background, right? In business school, they teach you how to learn, right? You're going to school to learn how to learn, whether you're entering mining or finance or consulting or science. The key component of my Michigan education was based around asking questions and understanding the industry. So I'd say the first 2-3 years that we were growing was me trying to understand this industry as best as possible. And the key to that is speaking to distributors, speaking to customers, speaking to players in the space, speaking to the scientists that are using the products every day, and asking as many questions as possible. Because at the end of the day, sitting in my chair, I only know so much. And so by interviewing as many customers, talking to the industry and saying what needs to happen, what needs to change, what are your biggest challenges and pain points, really helped me craft not only my sales and marketing strategy, but also our 5-year plan, our 10-year plan of where we want to go and how we want to transform and or disrupt the space. So the short answer is ask questions and read books. Which now
Well,
I sound like your parent, but
no,
it
it's just
works.
fine. Speaking of 5-year and 10-year plans, and what's next for PCT in terms of the innovation at the company,
Sure.
the education, all that's happening over the next the coming years. Because you had mentioned earlier, that we're just in the second inning. So what does the third inning, fourth inning, fifth
Sure.
inning, what does all that look like?
Well, they say manifesting by speaking it out loud. So firstly, we want to be the number one manufacturer in the United States for cell culture media, animals and plants, right? We have 16,000 square feet. We'll probably need close to 50 to 100,000 square feet by the time we get there. Secondly is integrating more AI and automation into tissue culture labs. So when you walk into a tissue culture lab today, you're not going to recognize it in 2 to 3 years. And with that, we're developing bioreactor technology, fully automated machines that are able to cut down on labor costs and improve dollar per square foot or square meter of lab production. Third is we want to hyper localize both manufacturing capabilities and food production. So bringing TC manufacturing to honestly every region around the world. We want to have headquarters in South America, in Central America, in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East. So we're able to hyper localize production for these growers, right? We saw in 2020 major supply chain shocks with COVID, the way the world shut down, and food security is becoming a bigger and bigger issue. So I believe that tissue culture can be used by many more companies and many more governments to establish local food production initiatives, as well as preservation units for forestry and potentially close to extinct plant species, right? We can use this technology for conservation and reproduction of some of the world's most endangered species. From the animal side, I'm envisioning growing human organs in petri dishes and test tubes, right? How can we help people with liver disease, help people with kidney disease, help people with heart disease, and actually give them new and clean organs? 2, using stem cells to better heal people. So using human stem cells to help regenerate tissue, help people walk again, help people regenerate or generate movement in their body if they're paraplegic. We're seeing amazing strides in that. And then eventually 2 more is 1, we want to eliminate the need for live animal testing. I don't want to test on monkeys, dogs, rats, mice. That's where animal cells come in. We can test on animal cells. And while I'm not the biggest expert on mammalian cell culture, I'm learning more and more. And my hope is the more research that we do with animal cells, we can eliminate the need for testing on live animals. And lastly, developing better medicines and better treatments for humans. We're able to study the human body, study the way cells interact, the way cancer cells interact, the way virus and viroid cells are, and hopefully eliminate some of the major diseases and pathogens and contaminants that are really hurting humans. So we're at the second inning because there's so much we have to learn about the human body. There's so much we have to learn about the plants as well. And there's more species we have yet to discover. So, we're going to build Noah's Ark for the plant species, protecting genetics and backing them up. We're going to feed the world more efficiently, and hopefully we're going to localize food production to improve supply chains. But, that's going to cost a lot of money and take a lot of time, but one thing at a time,
Well, these are big goals, and you guys are doing what you can to eventually, put yourself in a position to start to reach those goals. So,
Absolutely. One bite at a time.
well, yeah, you can't do it all at once. It's just the second inning. How would people what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you, learn more about plant cell technology, and
Sure.
see if they can be part of building that type of future with you?
Absolutely. So if you're a scientist, if you're a researcher, if you're interested in launching a product or commercializing something, you can reach out to us at info@plantcelltechnology.com. If you're interested in our product specifically or taking our classes, you can reach out to us at sales@plantcelltechnology.com. And if you want to do joint research, collaboration, R&D, you can reach me at YKALIN@plantcelltechnology.com. At the end of the day, we're a team of 12, 13 amazing individuals. We're happy to answer your questions. We're happy to support you in your journey. And we're all in this together. We're trying to grow the industry forward, and a rising tide lifts all boats.
And you're offering education and classes too. Did you just
Absolutely.
say what that info was on that again, or did I
Yeah,
miss
so
it?
you can visit our website, and under Learn, there's tons of information on the classes that we're offering and the dates that we're offering them. So actually, you go to plantcelltechnology.com, you click Master Classes, and you can see a video of, a little preview of what the master classes look like, and you can learn about the live streams that we do, the online classes that we do, and the in-person classes that we do. Because at the end of the day, education is the core component of what sets us apart from our competitors, and we want to continue to help people grow within the space, pun intended.
Yeah, that's great. It's great. Great to have you, Yoni, on From the Ground Up.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.